All right, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome back. Got episode number 7 here. We got pretty good list of things to go over this week. We can start off by taking a look at the stats on the right side of the screen there. Just shy of 44 Q, big Q. Not a huge change in the stones, 128,000. Research still slow moving at this point, 2.25. Biggest things this week is we have figured out what we need to do to address the range ultimate in tournament. Got absolutely torched this tournament. Did not get any keys. I had said that we were 2 keys away from auto restart. I misspoke. We're 4 keys away. So it's back-to-back tournaments, no keys after coming off a couple personal bests. So pretty tough to finish 6th and then not make any keys. Like right after that, it's kind of crazy. And that's what we were talking about in one of our last videos, is the variation in tournaments based on two things: battle conditions, but then also the bracket itself. Because I mean, I saw several other people that are similar in tier to where I'm at, and also people that are a little bit below that finished with less waves or the same waves and were 8th and 10th place. So definitely tough. I spent quite a few stones on the stones re-rolling or redoing the tournament and respecking. I respect a second time to do some second runs after I kind of thought about what we didn't do right. And we were 29 waves short. 29 waves short from getting 2 keys. So pretty tough. But we have finally figured it out, and it all came down to something that I thought wasn't very helpful. And then I saw some other similar level players that were doing better than me, increasing the range substantially. And I have been rolling with that and thinking that we need to increase the range more. But the poison swamp is so small in tournament that if you increase the range too far, the range line, which is a little tough to see on this run here, but my poison swamp is inside of the range line. So my harmony conductor misses, doing nothing for me. Poison swamp stuns, doing absolutely nothing for me. So I finally figured this out now, and I've been talking about how to combat that, not thinking about the range of the tower. This has been going on for weeks. I've been thinking like, oh, I need to push the poison swamp range. I need to get an area of effect mastery to increase the size by another 25% with the labs. But here I am, just like, all I had to do was decrease the range of the tower, and I would perfectly cover the range line. And as you can see here, we're just shy of 2 permanent swamps. We're 5 seconds off or 4 seconds off 2 permanent swamps right now. So I have very good coverage if the enemies are being targeted. So that's the biggest fix. And next time we see ranged ultimate come up, absolutely gonna cook them. We are working on the labs, which we'll get into for poison swamp here in a little bit. But I think let's start off. We'll take a look at the run history, see what we've been working with here. So this was just a test. Oh, that was for the no cards. So here's what we've been doing. Getting up to 43. Nice consistency here between cells and coins. Look at this. Even the wave count was almost similar, very similar. So here's what we ended up doing. This is when we came back. These ones are when we came back and reran them. 25th. So here's what we originally did. 1084, ended up doing 1,000 after that. So not very impressive, but we came back and did 3 more runs. Actually, I think it ended up being 4 more runs because I had respec'd something wrong. Or modules. I didn't swap modules incorrectly for the first one, so I just had to end it. But we were able to do 3 good ones, and consistency's there. I mean, look at how close these are all the way across the board. So at that point, it's like I mean, that's what I got. You know, I tried a couple different combinations that I normally wouldn't have tried. That actually is what got me these better runs, by swapping some modules in, and we'll go into that a little bit. But that's a lot to do with the being able to get these additional modules with the lucky banner. So pretty much the same thing here. I'm looking to get this to about as close to 50 as possible before we respec, but we're going to be respecing as soon as we get the auto restart. So that's our primary focus right now, guys. We'll take a look at the bots next, because that's what we're kind of leading into here, working on the challenges. As you can see, event shop, everything's bought out, and bots is what we're talking about. So we've been currently adding into the cooldown here, get some duration on that, and then now I think we're to the point where we need to put 2 more clicks into the range before we start working on this. I don't know how many more I'll get on, probably not a tremendous amount here. Bot's still the same, flame bot's still the same here, so we're just working on this. Now, as soon as we get the restart, we'll be dumping everything back in here. I'm getting real, it's getting really hard to work with these enhancements in the workshop. I just can't afford them right now. It's like every click is, several days of farming, several days to get 1 click into like coins. And then, it's like, what are we doing here? So I definitely am to the point now where I could go add a ton of power to my tournament, but I'm stuck in a spot here, which we need to pause this. I'm stuck at a spot here where moving to 17, the coin bonus is so much less, and the cell enhancement, or the cell quantity, isn't anything different. It's like at the exact same. So it's like there's no benefit in me going up a tier right now until I can complete some dissonant runs. And that's where we actually spent some time on Sunday. I was going to record it and then I didn't, but we did some disco runs, made some good improvements. So this is where we got to make the biggest shift, I think. So what did we complete? We did health ones, I believe. I don't remember if we ran 15 or if we... Yeah, I think we did this one, and that was what the max we could get. We did this one here. Or no, I don't think we did run that one. We didn't run 15. We ran 16, 17, 18, and 19. Now, on 18, you'll notice, what the hell? It's like the exact amount of waves. I took a look at my modules, and I made a big shift. I had a ton of reroll shards. We put a bunch into those. So we'll jump over to that in a second. But this is nice. We got, I mean, how much health are we working with right now in battle? I guess that's not, it doesn't seem like it's that much more, actually. So disco runs, that's all we did. We did the health ones here because I'm trying to just improve as much as I can. I think we need to do another run on this, which I don't have high hopes for. But then we need to crank this up. Now, with that being said, once we do our bot respec, econ is going to go through the roof. Before I did this respec, I think we were at 48 or 49 Q an hour. So we're getting close to that again now. We're at 43, so we're like 5, 6 shy. So you got to remember, this is about half of where we started when we first started on this respec with the bot and flame bot. When I removed golden bot completely, we went down to 23 or 24 Q an hour. So we're almost back to where we were, which tells you that when we put the bot back in, or the golden bot, pardon me, we're gonna just see some. I think I would assume that we should pretty much double where we were, because you also have to keep in mind now we've added more metals, so we're gonna have more into the bot than we did pre respec. So I would imagine we should be pretty close to 100 Q an hour once we respec. So that's, I mean, it should be right around the corner. And the biggest benefit then is having the auto restart. I'll have shorter runs, but they'll just automatically restart because I won't be doing 12,000, 11,000 waves every single time on tier 16. I'll stay in tier 16. That's where I was farming before. I just got into tier 16 where it was making sense. But there were shorter runs. I think I was only like 6,000, 6,500 waves or something before I did the respec. So it should be that or 7,500 or so, because I've also had a number of other improvements, poison swamp, things like that. So yeah, man, I mean, we're cruising along, and I mean, hopefully this is a good week. I mean, I would imagine I get a lucky, a decent bracket or get some favorable battle conditions where we can get those last 4 keys. So yeah, we'll see how that goes, guys. Let's check out the guild real quick. Nothing special over here. Nothing's changed. Put a couple clicks into the attack chip, I think. Bought the first one here. Everything else is still here. We got to buy all that as the 48 days continues. So then we'll jump into the workshop here. So I've just been putting less clicks because the run goes on. It's like it doesn't really matter. Got this devoed as you guys know. Got this devoed here. Those are the only things I devo. Yeah. Keep 5,700 there, 4,000 there, or 400 there. Keep our standard farm setup here. I got this up to 175 now. And I mean, nothing really changes in length of run, whether I put another 20 levels into each of these. Nothing changes. 30 levels. Nothing. It doesn't change my wave count really. 137. That's kind of our standard setup there. 143 there. I've been kind of hovering at 1.8 there. So one of the big things that I'm gonna want to get a little bit of input probably on some people. I'm kind of tore in like exactly where we're gonna go with stones next. I like 3 options. I like this. We'll get into that in a second. But as far as cards, I'm deciding between this. Flashbang Mastery ultimately gives you a 25% chance for enemies to miss their attack if they're stunned by landmine stun. So I think that could be very beneficial. Area of Effect Mastery. So that's the one I've been thinking that I should get with the 25% range to the Poison Swamp and the Flame Bot, which will be nice. I'm mainly looking at it for the Poison Swamp for tournament. But now, like I said, if I just slightly adjust the range and go with a slightly smaller range, I won't really have that issue for the time being. And I can spend the stones elsewhere. Because the other thing that I'm thinking here is I don't necessarily want to spend these next 1,000 stones on another mastery, because as of right now, I have so many other things that I want to work on, which we'll go through in a second here. But I'm kind of at a standstill. I've been kind of debating on what I should be working on here for these last couple of weeks, and I'm still undecided. And I think I'm starting to move closer to making up a decision. Like I'm starting to come up with some reason and some logic on why some certain things make sense. So a little bit of patience in this game can make a huge difference. So as far as modules, this is where we've seen the biggest changes, and we have the lucky banner, which definitely has contributed. So we got a couple 5 stars here. Boom and boom. 5-star on both of those. Funny enough, I absolutely never use them, so that's great. Let's see. I know we added a star to Pulsar Harvester. And this is one where we did some respecting. Since I only use it for tournament, I don't really care about the like the upgrades. So I put the recovery ones in. So I like that. I don't know if I re-rolled any of that, but it's real nice. We got this finally ancestral, which is crazy. We got this up to 5 stars here. Awesome. And that's still 1 star. And we got this at 1 star. And this is where we have finally, with actual ease, I mean, kind of crazy. I started with like 6,800, 6.8 million right there. Man, I re-rolled negative mass projector with everything I wanted on it. I mean, I spent probably like 5 million reroll shards on that, trying to unlock that. And it just honestly came easy. And that's what we did better in tournament with. We're also very close. I think we need 4 more epics to finish off our legendary primordial collapse. Okay, sorry about the pause there. So we're making some serious progress there. And then here's the other huge change. So I just did some testing on the Dimension Core. Oh, and actually we do have a star here. This is a new star. On the Dimension Core, I did some testing with the black hole. Because I never use this. And I was like, well, wait a second. So I started doing these disco runs, right? And then I'm like, wait a second. I'm doing the health ones. Why do I have a Prim C in there? I didn't change that out. And that's why you see this variation here with these discos, because this was after I did this with no Dimension Core. I did this with Dimension Core. So this should really be like 4,000, 3,500 maybe, I guess, considering this is only 47. But I also did this with a primordial collapse. So that should be done. It probably tells you that this would be pretty close to done. So I have to, unfortunately, at some point redo those. Now I don't feel as pressed to be spending gems with the Lucky Banner. So diving back over, that's where we made some big changes. I re-rolled this, got the Chain Lightning ones on there. And then put these inner landmine ones on there for the additional stuns on the interior if anything did get too close. So yeah, I mean that was good. So as far as the tournament, so what we did with our winning run here, we ran a negative mass projector in place of the sharp fort. Okay, we kept and we really re-rolled this, guys. All 3 of these were only mythics. So I re-rolled all 3 of those with legendaries. And look at this, dude. I didn't even burn 3 million re-roll shards. It's crazy how bad my luck was trying to re-roll that. I was on a roll. I mean, I thought I should fucking roll this. But I didn't want to do that because we'll end up changing this to a tournament build. So I'll be taking out like all 5 of these. So probably one of the Death Wave ones might stay in. This will probably stay in, I think. I think that'll be beneficial. But yeah, I mean, wild. So that's pretty much it in terms of modules. We're going to talk about this click right here because whether you're looking at a 20%, so it doubles the effectiveness here, which is huge. And this is a lot of times what I'm using in tournament. Alternatively with that, this has basically no use if you don't use it in the ancestral slot. So when I can't put it in as an epic at all. So here's what I'm also thinking. Now, if I end up with battle conditions where I don't really need this, it's like I like having this in there, but like this tournament, I found it to be more effective. Now, with the other things that I changed, maybe this wasn't as effective. And had I done the Poison Swamp correct, it would have actually, it would have been a completely different run. But um, I think this will definitely have a purpose of killing off 15% of enemies that spawn in. So I still like to have this. And again, this is over doubling it. So one way or another, that first level is very effective. And then you get, you know, a smaller ROI here moving forward. Well, I guess not really. It doesn't quite double it per se, but it's still a 10% increase each time there. And then on this, let me see, what are we looking at here? I'm tripping. Oh, Amplifying Strike. So this is what I think I would want to run in the assist slot if I don't need the Shrink Ray. Because I think at the end of the day, I don't know how beneficial this is. If not used with a damage dealer, like having Amplifying Strike make my already weak projectiles have a little bit of oomph to make them be worth anything. But then also, like, if you're not putting out the damage, the bounce shot range doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, if you're running death penalty, any damage, doesn't matter how close or how far away, and it's not like, even if it was an overcharge, it spawns in, it's not going to just instantly kill you, and I guarantee you're going to hit it before it hits you. So that's a thing. Like, if I use this doesn't really make sense if I don't have a mass enforcement condition, and this doesn't really make sense because it's just going to kill something a little bit faster outside of range, which doesn't make any impact. It has no impact on me. Whereas if I'm still doing more damage, it would be more beneficial. So, because that will still affect everything, all other 85% of the enemies with a little bit more damage, an extra 11 seconds of damage as opposed to 5. Because this amount of uptime is nothing. Quite frankly, this is nothing. But I mean, and this is where I've been running it forever. So the other thing with that is then having this 20% increase to help when they push in mass enforcement. Because even with mass enforcement, I'm still running this only on the 10%, and I notice a difference. So if I turn that up to 20, that battle condition is going to affect me even less. Also, in turn with that, if I did choose to use this for any reason, I would have a doubled bonus there as well at 40%. So I think this might be in the high discussion of where to spend my next stones. I'm really thinking so. So we'll get into that here in just a moment here. I wanted to look at the labs next. And before we go too far, I wanted to look at the lab history. How the hell do you look at the lab history? Is it in here? History. Yes, there it is. I've never looked at lab history, guys. I don't know if I've ever pulled this screen up ever in my life. But I wanted to look at what we accomplished inside of the last like week or two. So the 20th. Okay. Here's what we were working on the 20th. So 1 week, 89 at 5%. We just finished today. 4 levels. So 4 levels. Battle condition reduction. We're like 4 days away, 5 days away on the last level, running at 6 speed. And by 4 or 5 days, I mean that's like the actual real time that's left, factoring in a 6 times speed. We finally slotted out health, and we finally slotted out defense percent. I just couldn't take it anymore. Defense percent is just starting to pain me. The ROI on it is just not there. Will we come back to it? Very possibly. I mean, I don't remember. I definitely did the math and it was like outlandishly expensive, but I think if you really wanted to, oh no, Moo player like froze, guys. This happens sometimes with the mouse. Okay, we might have to close this, and I might have to like do a little bit of mild editing on this video. All right. Let's see if we're lucky. Nope, we're not lucky. Okay. We're gonna pause. And I'll be right back, guys. So we're back. Let's see if we can get this window capture to pull back up. No window capture. Window capture. And put this back in its spot. And reformat it so you guys can see it. Boom. And we're back. Back like we never left. So, we were in the labs. We need to go home, go to the labs, and here we are, guys. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Back like we never left. So, as I said here, so 4 more days. 4 more days on the battle condition reduction. We're just gonna run this till it's done. We'll tough that out. 2 more days on this here, a little over 2 days on the utility bonus level 9. And we have now got these swamps in, okay? So when this is done, we're gonna go 3rd swamp lab, close those out. I think this will make a bit of a difference here in tournament. In addition to what I was saying, guys, I don't know what happened. I'm so sorry. I just realized that the music wasn't playing the whole time. Dang. This video's been chalked, guys. Oh man, this is a tough one. But here's the deal. So Swamp Labs, that's what we got to finish up. I think once we're done with that, so we're going to finish these 3, okay? And that takes us to what really matters most, okay? I think this would also help our situation that we were talking about here. So I'm going to put probably 5 levels of ranged enemy in there to reduce the range. And then this one, I need to work on this for some econ as well. So this will be the next econ one. This one's gonna get slotted in for probably a couple percent. I don't know, we'll start with like 2 or 3% and just go from there for the time being. Because one of my big things is I don't want to take on too much, because as you can see, I'm not even finishing. I'm like getting through some of these and just kind of working on them a little bit here. Like this, I know this is something I need to do, but I don't think I'm going to touch it for a while. I actually think we're going to take that out. And I actually think now with this new respec that we did, I think we're in really good shape. Like, or, pardon me, reroll. I think we're in really good shape, guys. I mean, there's nothing urgent that we need to do over here. We'd love to see that orb speed, but we'll survive with where it's at. Boom, perfectly spec'd. Perfectly spec'd. And this might be the new tournament. This might be the new tournament module. We'll see. But so I don't need to respec either of those. This is where I think we actually have some bands over here too, I believe. Yeah, we do. We have 4 bands, 3 bands, 3 bands. So that's pretty good. And that's what we used over here. So, but there's a lot of options here. I feel like the re-rolling over here is tough. So that's kind of where we're at with that. And you know, like I was saying, my thing is, I want to work on a little bit of damage. I think I'm just at a point where it just makes sense. Like, I think I'm doing myself a bit of a disservice by not finishing up some of these masteries. And honestly, now in hindsight, looking at some of these other freaking labs, I mean, now it's been a bit since I've done some masteries. These aren't even bad, dude, because there's only 10 of them. And yeah, those like last few take a long time. Bro, just lab rush the last like level. I mean, tough out the first 9 levels or 8 levels and like rush the last one. That's what I was doing with them. And that's like the way to go. So I got to finish this up. It really wouldn't take that long. You know, if I just leave us at a 5x, I mean, it's only 3 days. So these are not that long, these masteries. So, but I'd like to finish these 2. You know, this I just mainly got for the ultimate weapon effect. Which was it was a huge jump for me when I got it. So I want to work on this and this. I want to finish those out. And then I want to work on some of this. Because I could get through like another 10 levels. I think it's fairly quick, I think. So I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just like, I know as a primary EHP player, I should be finishing out these 4, but it's just gotten to the point where the ROI is just so bad. And the thing is, like, running, I can only run 2 labs consistently at 6x. I'll get to like 9 or 10 million. I'll slot a 3rd one in for a day. Burn up a couple extra, like 2.5 million reroll shards or cells, pardon me, and then I have to slot that back out. So I mean, it's at 6x speed, dude, at the length of some of these labs. I mean, as you can see, what we've gotten through here in 2 weeks. 2 weeks was the 13th. I mean, look at this. I'm not saying it's not a good chunk, but it's really not a big chunk, because there's not like one section here where you've made like a detrimental increase to your tower. The only things that I would say have probably made a big increase would be this. I'd imagine that makes a good difference for me, but it doesn't, as of right now. It's not increasing me. It's not getting me more runs in farm. I didn't do good in this tournament, so did it actually help me? I don't know, you know? So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of leaves us with where we're at now. And primary focus right now, we're at 16. We need 20. We need you. We need 4. I think that's a top 10 finish. So that's what we need. I really think that if we would run into ranged ultimate again in tournament, I think we're gonna absolutely cook it with the poison swamp. We've been basically not even utilizing our poison swamp on the ranged ultimate enemies. Oh, guys, I know what happened. I paused the SoundCloud because Spotify's not working, and I wanted to play Celesteria And I paused it for the ad, and because I don't have SoundCloud Premium, I only have Spotify Premium, and I never unpaused it. That's why the music wasn't playing. So my apologies. Paused it for that ad, and we'll jump right back into it. So I definitely think that we need to focus on getting some coins. As we can look at over, we should have looked at that a little bit closer, but as we should look at here with the enhancements, look at the cost of these. And when we're only doing, we're doing less than one big Q a day, it's like 2 days with no lab spending, and we can do a click. So that's where we got to definitely work on the econ. We got to work on the swamp labs, get those finished. And then that leaves us with the final question, and I'll need your guys' input on. Where do we spend the next 1,000 stones after the next tournament? Okay, we should be able to get 240 out of the next tournament, which would leave us with, I've narrowed it down to 4 options, okay? I think first one, and these are in no order of preference because I am personally leaning towards the cannon assist. So I want your guys' input of the 4 options here. Which one makes the most sense? We could do the last click here into the poison swamp to solidify 2 permanent swamps, 2 swamp uptime all time. Okay, that'll also give us a 2-second third swamp. Okay, but that's negligible. The next option would be the area of effect mastery, which would further increase the poison swamp and also increase the flame bot, which we are going to turn down a little bit by removing the bot to an extent. Okay, we have the landmine stun mastery, which I'm at a toss-up. Okay, I do think it'll help me primarily with dissonant runs. I think that is where I could see the biggest value out of it, because 25% of enemies missing their attacks in any build is substantial. But especially when you're lacking in other scenarios, that could be extremely helpful for me. Especially when we're doing the utility ones where everything's just stronger. You don't, due to the not having the level skips, okay? So, and then where I'm leaning towards, guys, is I am leaning towards the cannon assist effect boost per first click, okay? And that, again, that's a situation where I should overall see tournament progress, but I can't definitively say that we'll 100% see progress out of that. But going back to the cards, this is what I was getting at. If I unlock these, this is going to take priority as the masteries to work on. And I mean, these swamp labs are going to be in here for a bit. They're not quick labs. Look at this. We got 5 more to go on this, 4 more to go after this one. And that's 3 days at 5 speed. So keep that in mind. If I unlock a mastery, I'm either obligated to start working on it, or these other things get pushed to the back burner. I think I have a pretty good thought process here on the order that I'm taking. I really think that cementing myself with the swamps as good crowd control and actually being at a point where it can be utilized during tournament, I think that's absolute priority with the investment that I have in it. Past that, I just think that I'm at a point where damage won't hurt. It's gonna help me, I think, with my GT multipliers by being able to kill a little bit faster. I think it'll help me overall in tournament naturally. But yeah, I mean, I think we're kind of to the point where we should be putting up a couple hundred big S of damage. You know, I think that's going to be necessary with a tournament build, and I think I get to like 60 or 100 big S or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that might not be right. But so I think that's the biggest question is, where do we spend the next stones? I'm liking this. It just seems to make the most sense. but I don't think there's any wrong option. You know, alternatively, I'm talking about econ. I can just go dump everything into the multiplier here, which is another extremely valuable option. And I guess fifth option we didn't talk about. Fifth option we did not talk about here would be saving for an additional 2 tournaments and going for the ancestral unique boost here, which would crank this up to 20, okay, which will ultimately be, I mean, everything's pretty much permanent as we sit here with the effects. The biggest thing would be the enemies targeted by death waves, taken by death wave. So 83%, we could potentially get that to 88%, 90%. We take almost 90, 99% here, 100% here. So only thing to really increase there with the Galaxy Compressor is the death waves, and that would help. Yeah, of course, that's going to be more cells. It should be more coin multiplier as well with the coin bonus. But then also one last thing with that is the inner landmines. More inner landmines being spawned for the interior stuns, so that's another huge factor. And that's going to more apply to farming for me. I don't think, and disco runs. I don't think that's necessarily going to be as impactful for my tournament runs, because you don't have the second layer of mines like you do in farming with the perk. So I think that's another avenue that could make sense. And then we'll kind of look at that from the tournament perspective, right? Unless we have the ultimate weapon conditions, I leave this in the assist spot. So we'd be looking at from the perspective of Pulsar Harvester. Well, yeah, it wouldn't increase. Yeah, I guess it wouldn't increase anything, guys. It wouldn't benefit me really in tournament, outside of the fact that I would have the ultimate way. So I guess that could be beneficial with the inner landmines. But with that, guys, I think we will end the video. Quite a bit of information to go over today. We're gonna have a lot of changes coming soon. We got V29. I heard in as little as weeks. It's supposed to be next month sometime. So is that gonna be the first week, last week? Matter of weeks. So that's why I'm not in any rush to spend the stones, because we don't know exactly what's coming, and there definitely could be a meta shift. So we'll see what we have coming soon, guys. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.